Welcome everyone to another episode of the VMblog Expert Interview Series. And today we're joined by Subbiah Sundaram, the VP of Products at HYCU. It's good to have you back.
Glad to be here, Dave.
So I know 2021 has been a busy year for HYCU, but why has this year been any different than prior years?
Absolutely. It's a great question. 2020 was an excellent year for us. To start with, the first thing is that early in the year, Bain Capital Ventures decided to invest $87.5 million in HYCU along with Acro Capital. That was the largest funding, Series A funding they have actually done in their history. That's a big recognition for us as HYCU in the confidence they have placed in us. And it was a great start for the year. So we started with that from the funding. So once we got the funding, as you know, customers have really loved our solution and I think have been adopting at a very fast pace. But to reach a broader audience, we needed to actually increase the number of salespeople and marketing people to reach the customers. That's something we are doing. In addition, the biggest thing which I am very happy and proud of is that our investment in our customer success. The reason I say that is that, a lot of people think of actually when it comes to money, it's about selling. What we want to think of as a company is not about selling, it's about making the customer happy and realizing the true value for what they bought the solution for. I think that's something we fundamentally believe, and I think that's where the customer success has played such a critical role for us. And the good thing with us with this funding is that it's allowed us to expand the team. As we expand our customers, have our expanded team to help them do the onboarding journey and make sure they're continuously realizing the value and we are exceeding the customer expectation. That's why, as you know, Dave, our score is 90, NPS score is 91. And it's extremely hard to achieve, I will tell you, thanks to all the customers. And we are very proud of it. And I think we want to strive to always keep it 91 or higher. So that's something we do. That's with regards to, so one is we talked about the funding, the second talk about the people aspect of it. The third thing, which a lot of people know us for, is our solutions, right? As you know, we started with our Nutanix solution, then we expanded to VMware and covered the entire on-prem portfolio. Then we expanded into Google and Azure, right? That's something from a platform we had. The big thing we heard from a lot of customers is that they are starting to adopt SaaS platforms en masse, right? That's something happening. And the first thing, the biggest request we got from customers is O365. They said, we need a great solution for O365. In true HYCU philosophy, we have delivered a truly native data protection as a service for O365. That is something we were able to do in 2021. In addition to O365, we also started seeing a lot of mainstream adoption of Kubernetes, or I should say containers in this particular case. One thing which over the last 3-4 years, there has been a lot of buzz about Kubernetes. But what we started seeing was earlier this year is when people started going through production application, large-scale production application and deployment for customers. When they started doing that, they realized that they got to protect the data. They got to keep the data safe and so on. So that's something they did. So we added that. We added the native true as a service for Kubernetes. That's something we did that. And last but not the least, I'll tell you, a big philosophy for HYCU is to make sure whichever platform we choose, we go deep in the platforms. That way it's not a shallow saying I'll support everything, but it's about in-depth integration. And we are continually enhancing our integration across every one of the platforms. That's a quick recap of what's been happening in 2021 and great customer adoption. I'm very happy for it.
Now, speaking of enhancing platforms, I think the last remaining major cloud platform for you to support was AWS. And at AWS reInvent, HYCU introduced plans to add support for AWS. Can you maybe talk about what's planned?
Absolutely. So thanks to you, Dave. I mean, the thing is, we are at AWS right now, and that's where we're doing our recording right now. The great thing is that we are very happy to announce our HYCU for AWS, or what we call HYCU Protégé for AWS. In our multi-cloud platform, we support the on-prem infrastructure, the public cloud, GCP and Azure. Now we are adding AWS. As you said, that's the missing piece in the puzzle. And now it covers all of the major cloud platforms and the on-prem infrastructure for our customers. The beauty of the solution is that it's a true native service, right? Customers should be able to go to their marketplace, the Azure AWS marketplace in this particular case, turn it on, and then start using the solution. That is something which we have made it, right? Because a lot of times what happens, Dave, is that people say, oh, we are building a cloud solution. You know what they do is they give them saying, they take their on-prem infrastructure, make it a little bit cloud savvy, and then say, oh, here's a solution. Because sometimes I find it funny. People say, oh, we have a cloud solution. And they say, oh, we give you an AMI image and you can deploy it and manage it. I say like, that's not cloud. That's like a regular on-prem deployment, right? The key thing we tell people is that you got to have a true native service in a cloud, because that's the best thing. And that's something we have actually delivered for customers. So it's a true native service. Going back to HYCU's philosophy, it's extremely simple to use, no agents. It's elastically scaled like a true cloud. It elastically scales up and down as the customers go. And we do three things for customers. We can back up the data onto AWS, which we have done for many years. We actually can help you spin up the data on AWS, because it's just not about backing up, getting the data, because most of customers want to do either lift and shift, that's one thing, or the other thing they end up doing is that they want to actually use the AWS as a test environment for a lot of the things, apply a patch, test it out, things like that. That's something we can actually help them with. And the third thing is that once the data is on AWS, how do they protect the data on AWS? Because that's a big thing for a lot of production applications. And I've been meeting lots of customers over the years, and they are running full hardcore applications. Some of the customers, like 95% of all their workloads run on AWS. So they got to protect it. That's something we do. And the last thing I'll mention is that it's about how do you leverage AWS, not just as a backup and not just to run your application, also as a DR target for some of your on-prem workloads which you're running. Keep a cost-efficient DR. Those are some things which we are delivering, and that's what we are announcing today, and we are very excited about it.
Now, if we try to dig in a little deeper into HYCU Protégé for AWS, maybe if you could, I know you've already kind of described it, but maybe dive in a little deeper on how it works and what customers should expect from this solution.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll double click a little bit on that particular one, as you said. So the experience for the customers would be like this. So you are a customer, let's say using AWS. All they have to go to is that you already have an account on AWS with their billing account. All you have to go is go and subscribe for our solution. Once you subscribe it, we give you a dedicated instance of the solution just for this customer. The key thing for us is that we don't want the customer to have any possibility of data leakage, right? Once you go in the cloud, a big thing customers worry about is data. The key thing which we try to do is keep the data within the customer's control, because in case something they don't like HYCU for some reason, we want to make sure they own it. Because a lot of other vendors try to keep the data to them. We said, no, it has to be with the customer. That's a conscious choice we have made. That's something there. The second thing is, like a true service, elastic scale in a cloud environment, especially things a lot of people are adopting containers and a lot of in DevOps workload in the cloud, right? But the DevOps, things come up and go all the time. There is no way a regular user can actually manage it. The key thing for us is that elastic scale, that's number one. So that's where there's no sizing or anything like that. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it should be a set and forget model. You cannot have people waiting for processes in the cloud, because that's the agility is the big thing in the cloud. That is something we do for the second thing. And the third thing I'll probably tell for customers is that at cloud scale, to deploy agent and manage and all that stuff is painful. So we definitely made sure our solution is completely agentless. That's the first thing. We want to make sure it's application consistent in any other work you're doing. That's the second thing there. And ease of use is something you want to always actually have, because when you go to the cloud, what we heard from a lot of customers is that they are not trying to create an entire backup team, just manage that, or like a DR team to manage that. They want the people to be cloud architects, look at the broader picture and do it. And that's one of the things, is that our simplicity plays a big part in this thing, Dave.
Now, in addition to, HYCU being simple and powerful, people who aren't yet using HYCU are looking for a solution like HYCU. Mm-hmm. What do you tell them? What makes, what you're doing different with AWS, cloud native support from other solutions that are on the market?
That's an excellent question, Dave, because I mean, to your point, there are lots of solutions out in the market. So customers wonder what's this different about, right? One I will tell you is that when you go to the cloud, please choose a solution which is cloud native. So that's what we strive to. And I think that's something which I think, forget even HYCU, but I think that's something customers should always look for, a cloud native solution. That's the first thing. The second thing is that make sure the solution is simple and actually essentially I would say self-service ready, because at the cloud scale, there's no way that you're going to actually, you don't want to spend individual teams managing VM by VM or recovery by recovery and things like that. That is something you want to be able to do. That's the second thing. The third thing is that as much as we would like everybody to have only one cloud and manage everything in one cloud, we know that's not practically possible today. Pretty much every customer you talk to has multiple clouds. That's part of life and they have to deal with it, right? And I think that's one of the reasons you want a solution which you can actually help them look at multiple clouds. Allows them to manage multiple clouds in a single fashion, that's number one. And number two, in case the company strategy changes from one cloud to the other, you should be able to, you should have the option to be able to leverage the technology and be able to move the data seamlessly. That is something you need. So those are the reasons I would say customers should actually look at a cloud native solution and a solution like HYCU. And if they are anybody who's listening to this is interested, they can actually go to our website to check out. That's number one. The second thing I will tell you is that just send us an email to info@hycu.com. Again, info@hycu.com. And one of our people will be happy to actually show them what it is. Even if they don't buy it, that's okay. But I think we can tell them what are some of the best practices and very happy to do that.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I know this is something that people, watching or probably want to know more about. But as we kind of wrap things up, if you wouldn't mind answering, what can existing customers and future customers of HYCU expect from the company, in the coming years?
Absolutely. So one of the things, as we spoke earlier, we've gotten the funding. I mean, that's actually has allowed us to invest in some of the core capabilities which customers really require. The first thing, as I said, continue to investment in customer success and making sure customers get the true value. That is something we will do. But I think your question is more around the solutions. I'll give you around the solution part of it there. The key thing, HYCU's philosophy is to say, we want to be able to make sure support the clouds customers actually choose, are using. That's the first part. The second thing is that a big philosophical choice we have made is that any platform the customers choose, let's say, for example, could be AWS in this particular case we're talking, or could be Azure, GCP. We want to be able to support all the different services because each of these cloud vendors come up with tons of services. The question is, how do you actually support them? Our goal is to continually expand the services customers do, because we want to make sure they get the best value in each of the clouds they do. So that's something you will see quite a bit in 2022 as we come across. We are really looking forward to coming to your session again, Dave, and talking more about it.
Well, once again, let me, thank you, Subbiah, for joining us today at VMblog. I really appreciate you taking time out, and I look forward to the next time we're able to catch up like this.
Thank you very much, Dave. As always, really appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks.